Note has always been the phone for people looking to get the most out of a phone. Today, we're taking Note further. Say hi to Galaxy Note 10 and 10 Plus.
So the Samsung Note 10 and Note 10 Plus event just happened. Let's talk about it. All right, let's go ahead and start with the price for the Note 10 and Note 10 Plus. The Note 10, $950. The Note 10 Plus starts at $1,100. Now that's only a $150 difference. And reason I say only is when I finish up telling you all the features and everything and the differences between the two phones, for what you're getting at the $150 price point, is totally worth getting the Note 10 Plus instead. And also, just to let you know, you can reserve it now and it will be released to the public on August 23rd. Now, the first couple things I'm going to talk about is something that's going to be across both lines of phones. So let's go ahead and get that, because that list is actually a lot shorter than the differences between the two phones. First off, DeX. Who's using that? Whoever sits in front of their Mac or their Windows computer and be like, you know what? I'd rather have a mobile OS on my screen right now. Because for some reason, Chromebooks and stuff don't already exist. And they're also going to be releasing a feature later on this year called Microsoft or Windows Link that pretty much lets you do the things that we've been able to do on Mac computers now for a few years, and that's be able to take and receive calls as well as take and receive text messages from your computer through DeX. So not really something new, but I guess it's a convenient feature as long as it's not something that you have to have a tethered or wired experience for. Next thing I want to talk about is Bixby. If you're not sure what that is Samsung's personal assistant. And that's all I have to say about that trash. All right, now let's get into the similarities with the cameras. Both cameras have a 10 megapixel selfie camera, 12 megapixel telephoto lens for the back, 12 megapixel wide angle lens, as well as a 16 megapixel ultra wide angle lens, and that's for the back. You will also be able to have special effects with your video, such as like a bokeh, a glitchy, or like the big bulb effect, blurred out in the background. Pretty cool feature. You'll also be able to do what they say full-on video editing within the Photos app itself, which is really cool, and I look forward to trying that out, see how good it is. And another thing is you can actually zoom in and out of your photo like normal, but the microphone actually amplifies what you're zooming in on. So it's kind of cool. So if you have, say, maybe a hypothetical scenario of one person playing drums on the left, one person playing the piano on the right, you could zoom in on whichever instrument you want and it would actually amplify that sound. So not only are you zooming in on your video, you're also zooming in with the audio. And lastly, the other big feature that will exist on both phones is this action cam, which is more so like a steady cam, and it looks really cool. Now, understand this is not a gimbal replacement, but it does make your video much smoother, much more stable and steady, and that's a great thing to add to smartphones. I mean, we've had entire motion pictures filmed with an iPhone, or even possibly with an Android device. So that's really cool that these cameras on these phones are getting that much better. So for you to be able to have the stability, that's a great feature. Now, I'm going to get into the list of everything that for $150 makes the Note 10 Plus, to me, a better buy. First off, you have a 1/2 inch display larger, from a 6.3 to a 6.8. Battery, you go from a 3,400 milliamp hour battery to a 4,300 milliamp hour battery. Display, you're going to go from a 1080p display to a 1440 display. RAM, on the Note 10, you max out at 8 gigs. On the Note 10 Plus, you can max out at 12 gigs. Now, understand that I'm saying everything that's relevant to only here in the United States, because with the South Korea model, you can get a Note 10 with 12 gigs of RAM as well as 5G. But here in America, you can only get the Note 10 in 8 gigs of RAM, and there is no 5G option or 12 gig RAM option for the Note 10. But with the Note 10 Plus, you actually get both those features. You can get 12 gigs of RAM as well as 512 gigabytes of internal storage, as well as you're able to also have expandable storage up to 1 terabyte. So in theory, you can have 1.5 terabyte of storage locally on a Galaxy Note 10 Plus. Then you factor in that only with the Note 10 Plus, you can actually have a 5G model. Then with the Note 10 Plus, some other features are the 45-watt super fast charging only for the Note 10 Plus, as well as the additional depth vision camera for a lot of additional AR and other AR and other features that they'll probably announce later on down the road. That's also only for the Note 10 Plus. So all in all, to me personally, if you're willing to spend $950 on the phone, I don't think it's asking too much to throw another $150 on for a phone that is far superior in every way. So with all this stuff being said, at an additional $150, I think it's totally worth it, because you're already planning to spend $950 on one of these phones anyway. The cheapest option is $950. So I personally would rather get the Note 10 Plus. Oh, and then lastly, Samsung now has Courage.
Do you want to know what else it comes with? An audio jack. I'm just saying.